Hi, I'm Derek Davidson, a professional Scrum trainer with Scrum.org and an Agile coach. In this video, I'll explain what Turbo Scrum is, why you might want to use it, and give an example of one of the many techniques that you can apply to improve the performance of your software delivery team. Today, we're facing demands for more functionality to tighter deadlines, and this has become the norm for software teams and leaders. Traditional remedies can either take too long or simply don't work. In this video, I'll cover one leadership technique from my Turbo Scrum course that you can employ immediately. You'll be able to improve performance without asking developers to work harder or longer. So, why Turbo Scrum? Well, Turbo Scrum enables us to do more with what we already have. It's a series of tactics and techniques that you can use to wring more performance from your current setup. It's less costly than other options, less complicated, and in most cases can be applied immediately. The approach can also be cherry-picked. You don't have to apply all of the techniques to get some of the many benefits realized in the course. Just select those things that will work best for you in your current situation and get the benefits that way. For this lesson then, I'll cover one leadership technique from that course that you can try. Let's talk about context switching. Context switching is an activity that occurs when we switch our focus from one thing to another. Disconnecting from the old activity may require us to clear our mind, dropping any references to work that we were doing. Connecting to the new activity may require us to read in and get up to speed before we can start. There's a cost to this disconnect-connect sequence, and we'll take a look at the metrics for that in a moment. But first, let's try an example. For this, I ask you to do some simple tasks in your head. Don't write anything down. For each task, you'll need to pause the video, start a timer when you start the task, and stop the timer when you finish that task. Record how long each task took. So, if you're ready, let's start with task 1, which is to read out every other letter of the alphabet, starting with the letter A. I've provided the first 2 letters in the sequence for you. Continue until you reach the letter S. Quality is non-negotiable here, so do be sure you've completed the task correctly. Pause the video when you're ready and perform task 1. Task 2 is to add 3 to the prior number. Again, I've provided the first 2 numbers in the sequence for you. You need to keep going until you reach the number 28. Once again, quality is non-negotiable. Pause the video when you're ready and perform task 2. And now the final task. This time you're going to do the exact same tasks you've already done, but you're going to give the first answer for task 1, followed by the first answer for task 2. Then the second answer for task 1, followed by the second answer for task 2. Again, the first 2 sets of rows are provided for you. So the answer will be A1, followed by C4. Repeat this sequence until you reach the row S28. Again, quality is paramount, so if you get it wrong, start over from the beginning and repeat until you get it right. Also, remember, do this in your head. Don't write anything down. Pause the video when you're ready to perform the task. I've run this exercise a few times, both with delegates on some of my courses and people that I meet up with at Agile functions or conventions. And while the results will always vary, the outcome tends to be that the sum of time taken to do task 1 and task 2 individually is much less than the time taken to do task 1 and task 2 at the same time. The average I've come across tends to be that task 1 will take 10 seconds, task 2 will take a little longer, maybe because it requires mathematics, at 11 seconds. But something astonishing happens when we try to do task 1 and task 2 at the same time. Performance drops markedly. In fact, it can often take 50% longer to complete the same work. Why is this, and how does this correlate to our world of work? Luckily, someone's been here before us and found the answer. While there are many answers to describe the effect we've just experienced, maybe the best known is described by Gerald Weinberg in his book Quality Software Management, Systems Thinking. Taking as a baseline that working on one thing at a time means that we have 100% working time available, the introduction of just one more project means that we lose 20% available time due to context switching. Put this another way, we're throwing away 1 day a week. If we're unfortunate enough to have to be working on 5 things at a time, we lose 75% of available working time, which is huge. If we map this to an example of 2 projects, where each project is estimated to take 1 year to complete, working on one project after another will take us 2 years to complete both projects, with the first project completed after year 1. If we work on both projects at the same time, it will take over 2.5 years to complete both projects, with the first project being completed after 2.5 years. Which may beg the question, why do people multitask when it's so harmful to delivery? The response I'm given most often is because we need to show progress for all of our clients, not just the one we're working on at present. But is this a good enough reason? Probably not, but in the final analysis, that's your call. The solution to the problem of context switching is, of course, extremely simple. Just do one thing at a time until it's done. Get that extra 20% or more available working time back. So to summarize then, context switching has a negative effect on available working time. Simply ordering your work and doing one thing at a time provides us with more working time, a probable increase in productivity, and sustainable pace for our product delivery team. And that concludes this introductory lesson on Turbo Scrum. I've been Derek Davidson. Thanks for listening, and join me next time, if you can.